Welcome to Breaking Barriers. You know your path. We know the obstacles, and we can teach you how to tear them down. And now your host, CEO and founder of Adapting Social, John Vigero.
Karla Osella, right?
You say it perfectly.
There you go. I'm super, guys. Welcome back to Breaking Barriers. I'm beyond excited. This is our 5-year celebration year of Breaking Barriers, making impact in the U.S., Australia, and as well as the UK, which we're super excited about for entrepreneurs, people who want to grow, and take what they're doing to the next level. And so we try to have good guests on here, that are real, that give us good information, and it really stems from the thought that any wise or man or woman can. Oh no, I'm saying that backwards. Sorry. It takes a wise man or woman to learn from other people's mistakes as opposed to learning from their own. And so we like to talk about this stuff on the podcast because, we've had a lot of cool guests that have been through some real shit or some crazy stuff. And, and it's good to learn from other people's mistakes and not just always yours. Right. So with us today, I feel super blessed to be able to have Karla here. She is an actor, TV host, journalist. And one of the things that I love from Argentina, and one of the things that I love about you that I noticed right away when we were doing research with my podcast team was that you had in your quote and kind of your vibe is never give up, right? And I love that you have that. It's so motivational. Yeah. Where did that come from? Having that thought process, that mentality.
Hey, John, by the way, since we met on your podcast on Instagram, I love your interviews that I always put you, they're so inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. Never give up, because I think that's, my personality, John. It's never give up, being struggling, being in this industry, in the entertainment industry, I was living in LA until the pandemic, for 6-7 years. It's always constantly something that you have to keep pushing and trying to make it. And, I'm not coming from a family that they're in the industry. I'm not coming, from a last name or from some people pushing you and helping you in the industry. That's usually, I always have to do everything myself, going to auditions, sending a resume. Sometimes you get extremely tired because I've been doing that for years. Sometimes it's like a roller coaster, the industry. Some years you're up here, then down here. So it's a roller coaster. So I always feel like never give up in this career. Actually, in everything, never give up. Always keep being there, being very consistent, basically. Yeah.
I love it. It's not, listen, and it's easier for most people. It's so much easier said than done, right? And this is one of the things we talk about so often here, which is motivating yourself is like a shower. You have to do it every day, right? And keeping yourself motivated. Because when people say, oh yeah, never give up or keep pushing forward or however they try to motivate themselves, a lot of times, they say those things and we call it a bumper sticker, right? They could just here it comes and goes, right? So, consistency is so key with that. Now, before we start to really dive in here, I'm super excited. So, at looking in our research, looking at your IMDb, right?
Yeah.
You've had some really cool stuff where, CSI Miami, Last Time Forever. Now, for people out there who are like, damn, I want to be an actor so bad. I want to get on this show. I want to get in this movie. What piece of advice would you give them just in the years you've been getting after it? What advice do you have for somebody that's the first step to the first 1,000 miles that they have to go to be an actor? What's the advice?
Be patient.
You knew that right away. I love it. You're like, oh.
John is like that. Be patient. Be patient. It's cool because I work for this. I started 4 years ago working for a company that it's in Los Angeles. Actually, my manager I was working in production for LA, in production coordinator in a company. Then the company closed. And I told my manager, while I was doing acting and hosting, I was working parallel full time with this production company, me as a production coordinator. When the company closed, I asked my manager, hey, do you know anything? I'm looking around for more jobs while I wait for castings and stuff. He says, yeah. My partner has this company, Immersion Artists, and they teach, acting for kids and teenagers. So they hire me, and I start doing coaching for them. Most of them, they're young kids. And one of the things that when I see the parents and everybody want to become an actor, famous, multimillionaire the next day, I'm like, be patient. This is not for everybody. You need to go probably to a million castings. Be patient. Keep working on your stuff. Have a parallel life. I mean, have a balanced life, because at the same time, you need to enjoy that.
Right.
You need to enjoy that. But basically, it's, yeah, you still always need to do like your work, always go to auditions, always do these. So for me, it's like, yeah, you need to be patient.
Mm. And what's the networking factor, right? Like, because so like I always say, like when I meet people, like I always say, like it's not who you know, it's who you meet, right? So you get out there and go network with and meet. For you, like
Yeah.
if somebody's like trying to be an actor or whatever, like is it really advantageous of them to go try to meet producers or go try to meet like who do they have to meet to like get in front of the right people?
For me, John, it's like, I think, first of all, as an actor, having a good casting office, or it doesn't have to be a big one, representation that is going to push you, that is going to be on the same page with you, that they are going to work with you. Because I say that's the first thing, to have somebody that is going to trust you and you're going to work as a team,
Mm-hmm.
you know? First of all, is that. Then, when you go to a casting office, maybe build that up. Build that relationship with casting offices.
Right.
Do a good job when you go there. And yeah, I think that meeting sometimes, producers and people. Of course, I think it helps. I remember many years ago, I met a director in Los Angeles, and then we became good friends with his family as well, because his grandmother she recently passed away from Cuba. And he was able to get me an audition for Tower Heist and Horrible
Wow.
Bosses.
Yeah.
If I would have waited that audition through a casting and through an agency, maybe I would never have that.
Wow.
So I was lucky to do that. Yeah, sometimes they can send you to an audition, sometimes maybe they don't have the power or to send it to you to the audition. But I think every relationship you build, of course, is going to help. Yeah, it's also meeting the right people at the right time. I know people that they came from Argentina to Los Angeles. There's one girl, now she's doing amazing, she's doing really good, but also her husband is in the business. People that it's, her brother-in-law is in the business. So yeah, it's great, but you also have the upper hand. You
Mm-hmm.
also have a little push. I feel that having also the good connection is going to make it, of course, be prepared, be talented, all the things that we know. Makes sense?
Yeah.
And I think, John, it's like you're doing your own stuff. It's like, also, I feel that making sometimes your own stuff, not wait always for one audition to come out, because
Right.
I don't know if how familiar you are with auditions, but since COVID hit, most of the auditions, like theatrical auditions, are, you needed to submit yourself. Not submit yourself, submit the rather than being in the casting office. It's amazing because you can do it from the comfort of your house. But sometimes I'm like wondering, do they really see all these auditions?
Mm.
Do they really see all these people submitting,
They can't.
all the
There's no way,
videos?
right?
I don't know. I've been submitting, videos, and I got castings for the last 2 years, and I'm putting them on Actors Access and uploading them. Do they really see all this? I don't know the answer. I feel that that's something that I learned when I was in casting offices, because I wanted to see how it is to be working in casting. Some agencies and some managers were taking the time to put a note and say, like, hey, I need you to see this guy John, he's amazing, watch his reel. So you were guaranteed that the casting office at least was going to see you. But if you don't have somebody pushing for that, you
Right.
don't know if they actually are seeing all the videos.
Yeah. So that's it's also gotta be frustrating too because you spend the time to do that stuff and then like you don't even know if it's being seen. Um,
Exactly.
but to your point, being patient, that's part of the grind, right? Like you have to just know that like, you might not even be seen. So
Yeah.
so when did you know like I want to be in front of the camera? Like when did it hit you? Where were you? Like how young were you? Like when did you know, like, I want to be an actor or on TV? Like, when did you know?
Oh my God. You know, John, it was, I'm going to try to make it short, the story. My sister, I was living in Argentina. That's originally where I'm from. My sister was doing, she's 3 years older than me. She was doing modeling. So she was working a little bit in Europe.
Hmm.
Then we came to Florida, for vacation. And she had an agency. I remember by that time, Michelle Pommier, I'm telling you, like 1997 maybe.
Right.
I was super young, so they put me in the kids department. I did some commercials. I mean, yeah, I did some commercials. I remember one was for Walmart and the other one was for uh, tomato sauce for Italy, for a product
Mm.
in Italy. Many productions from uh, companies from Europe were coming to the US, mostly to the East Coast. And then and then I was very young, and it was like 1988, 1999. I got an audition for MGM to
Mm.
host a TV show, and then they hired me, but I was still living in Argentina at school. So then when I finished, I moved here. I was traveling back and forth.
Oh, wow.
So I was coming traveling with my mom because I was not old enough. So I was traveling with her. And then yeah, that's the thing. I started. Yeah, I was a teenager, and I started with that.
So
And yeah,
you
that was
started doing this early.
very early. Yeah, very early.
So you're
Very
so
early.
comfortable because my next question. So we got some questions from some fans, and one of the questions that we got, let me just read it real quick, was like, so for instance, like especially when it comes to like news, right, and like reading like news stuff. Sometimes things are happening super live, right? And like things are happening in action, right? So like,
Yeah.
how has it been for you? Are you somebody who's very good impromptu, obviously, where it's like you can just go on, live like that? Like, or has it taken training to get to that point to be able to be in front of a camera and shift and pivot and change, do what you need to do?
Well, I mean, going live, I had actually in Telemundo, I worked for 2 years in a live show in 2002 or 2003, and I was also pretty young over there.
Right,
So when I started there, I knew how it was to be live because we were prime time for Telemundo in international Telemundo.
right.
Uh, so I kind of get used to that at a young age. But now every time I go on the live news, it's a little bit different than being on the live when I was doing this kind of show, that it was a little bit more entertainment. Because
Right,
on the live news, you are dealing with the anchors and you never know what they are going to ask you. So
right.
for me, the challenging part is like sometimes, I'm covering, I don't know, everything related to the elections last year or to the vaccines or now the Ukraine. Sometimes they ask you questions that you don't have a clue about the answer. So it's not entertainment that you can have fun and say, hey, I don't know, haha, make it funny. That it's like, dude, I'm on the news channel. It's pretty serious with these anchors that they are like, they have a great reputation. I can be funny or, this is not like. So it's like, how do I not answer that question, but try to look, that I don't know the answer? That's the challenging part for me. That has
Right.
been challenging sometimes, depending on the interview, on the breaking news. Make sense?
Got it. Yeah, because that's tough. Like you don't know what's happening. You got to like listen and then boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another question we got was, let me see here. What are you most proud of that you've done when it comes to the TV/acting?
Uh, I think lately the news, because I feel it's a little bit challenging, depending on the interview, to be standing there. I feel the news is pretty challenging. And then the other thing that I will say, proud of, I don't know, many things, because I feel that everything, John, honestly, it took me so long to get that. I feel that everything that I did, I would say, okay, CSI Miami was cool. Doing the Last Time Forever movie, that then they put it was an independent film and they put it in some festivals. It was pretty cool. But then it's everything, even a small audition. It took me so much time and effort and
Mm,
everything that
right.
even if I get that small thing, it's like, okay, I feel proud because it took me a lot of time.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I don't have only one thing. I feel that everything that I've been doing, it cost me so much time and effort that I kind of, every little thing that I do is kind of like, I
Like,
appreciate. You know what I mean?
Like,
Yeah.
let's do it. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The last question I will ask here, let me see. Trying to find a good one. What was okay? So feel free to answer whichever one you want. So whether it's personally or professionally, what was one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome?
Okay, personally or professionally? Professionally, I will say sometimes, professionally, I will say sometimes to start all over again. Sometimes you're in
Mm,
a good position with a company, you are doing this like this production company. I was perfectly, the salary, the schedule, everything was perfect. Boom, the company closes. Like, dude, do I do now? I have to start all
right.
over again. That's pretty challenging. Or
That's
when
tough.
you have a, yeah, or when you have a TV show and then all of a sudden they say, I'm sorry, Carla, no longer the TV show, and you're like, really? And it's not that they are giving you another option, you have to start all over again. With family, maybe being away, I will say, but at the same time, I'm lucky to be able to travel kind of whenever I want,
Right.
you know? So, yeah, being away is challenging. Being away from your family, from your loved ones. Maybe when I was more time in LA because of the distance, you know?
Right.
Uh, but also, I always knew that, okay, if I really miss my family so much or something, I'm going to get back. If something happens, I'm going to be there. You know what I mean?
Right. You can always go back
So, yeah, exactly. So
if you
for
wanted to.
me, exactly. So for me, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna, yeah, I mean, try to be happy as well in the process. I mean, if I'm miserable, let's say in Los Angeles, I wouldn't have to stay there, forever because I want to be as well happy. I want the process to be happy,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes, John, I don't know, but I learned a lot being in LA, much more than being in Miami, because I feel that Miami is more like show off. So in
Mm,
LA, you see more the reality of people. And and I feel a little bit sad when you see people like thinking that when they come this, they're gonna be happy or they're always thinking about a dream that is gonna come true. And my question is always, what if that dream is not coming true?
right.
Because it can happen. So it's like during the process, you're miserable. So I was miserable for a long time. I remember when I didn't make auditions or stuff like that or a job. And I was like, for a point, then I was like, okay, I'm going to try to enjoy the moment as well because, I mean, the chances of not getting something sometimes is bigger than getting it?
Right. Right. 100%.
So, so it's like, okay, so it's a point that I have to be a little bit more enjoying what I have because if I get that audition, I'm gonna be millionaire, happy, or this or that. That's the idea of many people that I met,
Hmm.
and it's
I want
like,
that money.
okay, yeah, or the life goes by, and you're like, okay, you didn't make it. Are you okay with yourself? Are you
Hmm.
still fine with yourself? So yeah, I try to try to find that, you know.
The harmony.
Yeah, exactly. The harmony, during
Yeah.
the process. Make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it does. Um, so now we're gonna switch gears, right? So now I'm gonna put you on the spot. You ready for this?
Yeah.
You're like, I do this for a living, John.
Exactly.
um,
John,
so
every day when I go out for the news, it's like,
yeah.
yeah.
So okay. So I love thinking like me myself. I started my business when I was 17 years old. I was a kid, and never looked back. And when I was trying to motivate myself, and like I was looking at things that help motivate me, I'm a big guy that likes to think about legacy, right? Like, what am I going to leave behind to make the world a better place, or eventually one day when I have kids, to make it a better place for my kids, like whatever, my family. So there was this project that we did in high school, and it was essentially like something that really resonated with me. But essentially, it was like reverse engineering what most people do when they think about what they want to do with their time on this moving rock, right? Like, what are you going to do? What impact? And the only way to really look backwards from that and look in retrospect is to say, damn, what would Carla's gravestone say? It says loving daughter, loving wife, loving this, like person who is super happy, whatever. Like, like, what would yours say? What would your legacy be left on your gravestone?
Pain in the ass. No, I'm kidding. That's for sure. I'm a little bit of pain, My
We
friends,
all
my
are.
boyfriend, everybody. It's like, oh, Carla, in a funny way. Mine, I don't know. Let's say it's hard to talk nice about oneself.
It's tough.
It's tough, because sometimes it's tough to talk something nicely about myself. But what will I say? I think I think a good person, in general. Like, I don't know if like good person in general, I
Right.
guess. Because
Right.
if you ask me about myself, like sometimes if I feel envy helping, if somebody make it, or if somebody has something that I don't know, that I don't, I don't feel like I'm envy or in competition with a friend, or you know what I mean. When
Totally.
so I feel that,
Yeah.
like genuine, I try to be real with friends at least.
So I like that.
So
So
yeah.
good person and genuine.
Yeah, I think, yeah, like a real friend, a real person with my friends. Yeah, I
And then
think
in
so.
small font at the bottom, it'll say pain in the ass.
Exactly, definitely, for sure. I think that will be the top. Yeah.
Okay. Reverse it, right? The other ones are small in the bottom.
Reverse
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I love it. I love your sense of humor. So is there like what's the next steps for you, and like what's the next 5 years look like for you? Like, are you planning on like trying to get to any movies? Like, what's the next steps for Karla?
Okay, John. So, what I would love is, of course, to keep doing hosting. I feel very comfortable, maybe because I started when I was so young.
Hmm.
Like even reading a teleprompter, I was so young that I feel that it's on my uh, ADN,
Yeah.
NDA. So how do you say NDA? No, NDA, ADN.
DNA.
DNA, yeah, DNA. So I say it in Spanish. So I feel that it's very comfortable for me. So hosting, I really do like it. And yeah, I don't know where I see myself. I can tell you where I would love to see myself, keeping the industry for sure.
Hmm.
Um, Being maybe hosting a show, more like doing just the interviews, more like having my own one.
Yeah.
I love doing the don't get me wrong, I love doing what I'm doing. It's just that I used to do my own show when I was so young.
Right.
And then many years later, like 15, 20 years later, I love what I'm doing, but I'm, like a newscast, like reporter kind of. So
Right.
I would love to have that. And then when it comes to acting, yeah, acting has something. That's why I actually moved to LA pursuing the acting career. Acting
Mm.
is something that I love. It
Right.
just that takes time. So yeah, I wish that at least in the next 5 years, some of the auditions that I really prepare a lot to get something. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So yes, that's something that I would love to. I've been preparing for a long time. Always keep training. I don't know how many trainings I did in my life,
Oh
but
goodness.
also hosting. Yeah, like yeah. Yeah. I hope to see myself in that. I can say, yeah,
That's so exciting.
yeah,
Well, listen, I feel very grateful that we were able to have you on our podcast.
yeah,
Thank you for obviously your positive energy. What you're doing for the people around you. And we always like to say here when we end off, time is the one asset we don't get back, right? So you spending it here with us, I'm super grateful. And we also like to say for our listeners, listen, like it's up to you. Create a great day. A lot of times we live in like this robotic world where people are just like, oh, have a good day or whatever. Like,
yeah.
no, like, it's up to you. Create that day, make it awesome. And for our girl Karla here, you gotta never give up, right? So you can never give up. And yeah, so where can people? So this is where you plug yourself. Where can people find you? Engage with you on social? Do you have a website or anything
In my
else?
house. No, I'm kidding.
Here's
Now I'm at
my
home now.
address.
Here's my address, my phone number. No. I'm using mostly, like, nowadays I'm using more Instagram. I actually started using not that long ago, with my name Karla Osella. That's my Instagram, where people, usually I connect more with people. And actually I've been using lately my Instagram more. I don't know if you like the same way that we connected each other. with people that I have to interview and everybody, you know. I feel
Right.
that it became a good source of connecting to people and work and everything. So I use more that one than Facebook. You know, Facebook is the same one, Karla Osella. But lately I feel that Instagram, some people is telling me open Twitter or I don't have an account. But yeah, I'm mostly more connected with Instagram. I think it's a great source of connecting people as well.
Totally. Instagram's
Yeah.
definitely popular. You should definitely, again, for who you are and what you do, you should definitely be on Twitter and TikTok.
Yeah, you think
Both.
so? TikTok for, you know, I never had TikTok. Do you have?
You have to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah, but what do you put like on TikTok? Same thing, like the interviews, the stuff. It's not only people
Interviews,
dancing.
it's all video only, obviously. So interview stuff, just fun stuff, right? Lighthearted, maybe some real stuff. Like, again, you said you're talking a lot about Ukraine. TikTok is obviously the channel where you go viral. And then Twitter is the channel where you're like, just being like, again, most actors, people who are like, news anchors or TV people, personality. A lot of times, like that's where they go to like put out their message. And Instagram's where you're doing a little bit of both. You can post videos, you can post photos, but Twitter's more like here's my thoughts. Instagram's more like here's my life and what I'm doing and the fun stuff I do. And
Yes.
TikTok, a little bit of a hybrid, but mainly just fun video content and things like that. But you definitely should, because people get very viral, on that.
Yes, on TikTok. Yeah, I know that. The only thing is that at the beginning when they came, well, or like a year ago when it was, I just picture more TikTok like all these people dancing and making this dancing stuff, and I was like,
It
there's no
changed,
way
though.
I'm gonna do that, There's
No,
way I'm.
and it changed, right? Because not people aren't dancing all the time like that anymore. Now it's mainly just like it's so many different things, right? Some people are dancing still, some people are just talking, some people are showing interviews, some people are just like it's everything now. It's like Instagram, but just videos though.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna check it out once I open it to see, how it was, and then I close it. I say, this is not for me. But yeah, maybe it's good. Yeah, it's like you're saying, and Instagram now became something that it's more business than before, right?
Yes.
Like, I think it's more like it's like a resume, like showing up your resume in a little way, right?
Totally.
Yeah,
it is. Just
definitely.
Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is a little bit more serious, of course. Yeah, because you don't have pictures to post. Or
right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Instagram is becoming more like a little resume, like a presentation, about yourself.
Though it's funny because it's like where you push your personal brand, right? It's like where people want to show the world who they are, what type of clothes they wear, like what they're doing. Like you mentioned being in Miami, it's very flashy. Like they're posting, I'm on a yacht, I'm on this, I'm doing that. And that's their resume. They're selling, right? Everybody's always selling. Even if people aren't in the business of being a salesperson, you're still selling because you're selling yourself.
Of course.
People do that through social, through branding, and the whole thing. So, yes, it is like their resume, 100%.
Yeah.
Right, listen, our time is unfortunately up here. We're so again grateful to have you, Karla. Anybody listening in, go give Karla Osella. I hope I said that right.
You're saying perfectly, John.
Go give Karla a follow. Go follow her journey. I would agree with you. Just having this conversation, you seem so authentic, so real, so genuine, and those are the best people to follow their journeys for, guys. So go give her a follow. And again, Karla, thank you so much. I really
thank you, John. It was very nice meeting you.